now. So the rest of us are just slugging it through. So.
Thanks, Scott. Okay, we're going to convene our study session for Thursday, January 22nd, 2015. And again, we'll excuse Mayor Giles from attendance this morning. And the first item on our agenda is to review the items for our January 26th, 2015 regular council meeting. And I promise Mr. Richens I won't go quite as fast. So we're on page 2, items 2 through 3C. Page 3, items 3D through 4B. Page 4, items 4C through 4E. Page 5, items 4F through 4H. On page 6, I understand that item 4I will be pulled from the agenda because of a protest. So items 4J and 4K, any questions or comments? Page 7, items 4L through 4N. Page 8, items 5A through 8A. Page 9, items 8B through 10A. Councilmember Richens?
We got all the issues worked out around 8A. I mean, I know we delayed it. It's the definition of owner. We're all good. Okay, good.
We do, let's see, 10B through 10D.
He's stalking that microphone.
Page 11, items 10E through 10H. And the last page, items 11A through 11C. Questions? Okay. We move on to the study session agenda. And item 2A is to hear a presentation, discuss, and provide direction relating to the Housing and Community Development's funding recommendations for home investment partnership programs, projects and allocations, prior year funds, and allocations methodology for awards with reduced funding. Well, that's hard to read. Ms. Albright, Chief Mesa.
Good morning, Vice Mayor, Council. Just to let you know why I'm here, I am, for the month of January, I am shadowing Tammy Albright. There was 3 of us selected, and I was selected for January. Scott Boucher will be in February, and Ruth Giese will be in March. So that's why I am here today. We are here today. Back in September, Council approved the listed fundings of the rental projects and the homebuyer program funding and the homebuyer assistance program funding. This year, fiscal year 15-16, we're anticipating a 5 to 10% reduction in home funding. And what we are requesting today is council approval on the recommendations from staff for the home rental funding. One thing that was changed this year, we previously have used a percentage points on scoring the applicants. This year we went away from the percentage to a straight points scoring process. The next slide lists the 5 applicants for tax credit applications for funding, and those are La Mesita Phase 3, The Hub at Mesa Lofts, El Rancho Apartments Phase 2, the Sycamore Station, and the Mesa Art Space. The Mesa Art Space program did not attend the presentation for the portion of the selection process, so recommendation was a 0 funding for that particular project. The HUD requirements, Tammy, if you want to.
One thing we want to keep in mind as we go through and decide who will receive support letters for the low-income housing tax credit projects is that even though they're requesting that amount, ultimately, the amount that can be given to them is what shows they need on a subsidy layering in their financials. Can't overfinance them, I guess you would say. And there's a lot of HUD requirements that have to be done first. Environmentals, lots of other.
Councilmember Luna?
And Tammy, if we approve this as it moves forward, when will they get their support letters?
We will have their support letters ready for them for their March 1st deadline. And again, HUD allows us to do what's called a pre-award. So what will happen with this is you're giving us permission to give them letters, and then we will roll this all together with the final funding, and it will be submitted to HUD in May. They still will not know whether they will have tax credits by that time.
Just to be clear, you're asking for direction from council today
Yes.
to draft those letters.
Right.
Okay, so that they can get those in time.
Yes. So the methodology we outlined, and you were all given a chart like this as part of it. The methodology we outlined was two different ones. One, if we have level funding, we still can support all the projects to a portion of what they asked for. If we see up to a 10% reduction, which we probably won't see that big of a reduction, we still can support all the projects, with the last two being Sycamore Station and El Rancho being supported with the minimum 2% to still earn their city participation points in their tax credit application. We do recommend that the odds of all four of these receiving tax credits are probably slim. So if 3 or less receive the tax credits, we have the funding, provided with its level, to fully fund all of their requests. So what we were asking, what came forward from the Community and Cultural Development Committee was a support of the staff recommendations with a vote of 2-1, with Councilmember Richins voting nay. Staff is recommending that this only be approved for the 2015-16. I know there was discussion last year. We're saying if they don't receive the tax credits in 15-16, they start all over, and it's an open competitive process again the following year.
Councilmember Richards.
And that we used to lag kind of behind the applications, and so they couldn't get the points related to city support, and that's why we're ahead of the curve this year.
Yes.
Is we finally kind of got our systems in place that we can, give them the city support, because there's a specific point total that they get if the city has funding in the application. So that's kind of why it seems like we have the horse before the cart before the horse, I guess, right?
Yes. So basically, we've outlined what staff would say whether we receive level funding or reduced funding. Again, the vote was 2-1 from the Community and Cultural Development Committee. So now we're looking for the full council direction of who do we provide these letters of support to as they go through with their application process. So again, we have, I don't know if Councilmember Richins would like to.
Councilmember Richards.
So, yeah, I've been very supportive of affordable housing in Mesa, and we've done a great job over the last 4 or 5 years adding to some quality stock to Mesa. I think we've been a leader in this in the Valley. I'm thrilled to see La Mesita Phase 3 come forward. We really need to get that last phase done. It's been a fantastic project. It started, with almost an offhand comment 4 years ago about repairing plumbing. And their board has responded in amazing ways. I mean, I can't praise enough the work that A New Leaf has done, and so wholeheartedly support that project. They have a specific clientele they're serving, and so it's well placed. It has a clientele. It's full all the time, and it's well managed. El Rancho is, I think, a really neat redevelopment of an old motel site. We need a lot more of that. Along Main Street, and it's a well-placed project. The two projects, the reason I voted against this motion wasn't because of those two projects. It was the other two projects, the hub at Mesa Lost and Sycamore Station. The Sycamore Station project is the right project with the wrong financing. I like the urban style that's there. It's right on the Sycamore Station site. Low-income housing tax credit financing doesn't allow for student housing. It doesn't allow for any market rate individuals to be in there. And given the apartment stock in that area, the rents at market rate apartments and at low-income housing tax credit apartments are very close to each other. And so you end up with a project like Sycamore Station, which has, low-income housing tax credit projects, in my opinion, are far better managed than the folks that I'm going to use the word slumlords, and so you get a better quality clientele in there. But I think we're going to regret if we put low-income housing tax credit housing at our station site, and it's no longer the end of the line station, but it's a pretty important station to our system. So that's why I've opposed that project, only because of the financing, not because of the way it's developed. I think it's a lovely project, and I would love to see it go there if we could get some market rate financing in that, or at least half and half, some kind of structure like that. The hub and Mesa Lofts, I think we're just. I don't think that proposal is fully baked yet. It's based on a project I did back when I went back to school, and so they looked at it from that. But it's about 250 yards from Sycamore Station. So if both of these projects were to get awarded, I don't think we have a full grasp of the absorption rate in that area for low-income housing. And so. That's the one that I've really opposed, the hub, and struggled with Sycamore Station, again, based on our financing. But the hub hasn't finished their market study yet, according to the documents that I've been given. And what we're not doing is we're not looking at the total context of all of these projects going in. La Mesita is right down, not far from here either, but it is, again, it's a specific clientele serving specific folks and a nonprofit agency operating these. These other two, they're general population, low-income housing, and when you take that in context of the housing that's in that area already, it's not adding value, in my opinion. And so that's why I've been opposed to those projects. I think a good, robust market study will illustrate that there is not an unlimited absorption to low-income housing tax credit projects. There is a specific market for that, and we can fill it up. A lot of these developers think that we can just fill up as many of those apartments as we can possibly build, and that's just not the case. So that's the nature of my opposition. I'll continue to oppose. I mean, if I could put a positive vote for La Mesita and El Rancho only, I would do so. I wholeheartedly endorse those projects. The other two, I don't think I can support giving letters to.
Are there comments from the council?
Question for the chair. So can we, do we have to take this as a whole of all the ones, or can we break out?
You can divide the.
We can.
You could give us direction on, because they're all separate letters, so you could give us direction on the specific ones you'd want us to send the letters to.
So that would be my leaning, because I know when I was serving in that chair over there, we did have a vote on Sycamore Station, and I've had a lot of feedback. Believe it or not, District 2 is far on the east side, but some west side feedback. In fact, I have to run and hide sometimes when I see some of those folks, and so I'm feeling the pressure from some of the residents on the west side that are concerned about an overabundance of projects. So I would lean towards doing La Mesita and El Rancho also, and then steering away from the other two.
So is that a motion?
Well, I don't want to be the leading edge of that. I'd rather have somebody on that.
Mr. Richards.
And I would second that. So,
okay. Any discussion on this particular motion? I'm going to reserve my comments till we take the second.
So
motion.
I want some clarity on that. So we're supporting La Mesita, but not.
No, we're making a motion just on two. We're going to have two motions.
Okay.
We're going to have one on the La Mesita and El Rancho, and then presumably there will be a follow-up motion on Sycamore Station and the hub.
Okay, so the motion is on La Mesita and El Rancho.
Yes.
Yeah, to support those two only.
So, any additional questions on that motion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, and the motion carries. Next resolution or motion could be a motion to support the hub and Sycamore Station. And I'm going to take the privilege as a district council member to indicate my support for both projects. The Sycamore Station project is one that the city has been working with for almost 3 years. Actually, we've been working on affordable housing on that site since I got sworn in 2008 with several different developers. This developer is highly regarded for its developments. They've done a whole variety of types of housing. They are also committed to work with the city, the city has announced indicated plans to master plan that entire Sycamore Station area once the light rail changes, because there will be space that opens up. We don't need as much of the area for park and ride, and so we think there's an opportunity for market rate housing, and it is a good location, as Councilmember Richens indicates. The other, I know some people that Alex runs away from are complaining about or concerned about impact on schools in West Mesa. I requested that Mesa Public Schools provide some information about that, and Joe O'Reilly provided a report, or at least an indication from Mesa Public Schools yesterday, that at least the Sycamore Station would have no adverse impact on Webster School. The current enrollment is 599 students. The capacity of the school is 812. They have an excess capacity of 213 students. Under their analysis, they would expect only 10 more elementary age students attending the school. They're using an analysis similar to they use for Escobedo. So I know some people have, not Mr. Richens, but some people have had concerns about on that side of it. The other issue with respect to the hub, I think it's a very interesting project because I think it does have some more work to do, but if you go back and review the materials, I think they were looking at more targeted populations, such as I think police officers, teachers, younger professionals that you want to encourage to come into the community. And I think those are the type of individuals that would like to locate along light rail, and I think would provide a good mix of residents in the area. So I'd at least like to see that move forward. I agree with Ms. Albright that it's unlikely that all the projects are going to receive financing, but I would like to see them compete and see how the state allocates it. So I would be supportive of a motion to approve the hub and Sycamore. But Ms. Luna?
I agree, and I'd like to make the motion to forward a letter supporting the hub and Sycamore Station.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? These are all really good projects, and it's a very interesting process. And we know that Mr. Richens has done a tremendous amount of work analyzing Main Street in terms of the kind of housing we should have, and we've got a lot of different choices, I think, for the community here. No further comments. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Oh, it's 3-3, so the motion fails. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So there will be no recommendations.
No letters of support. That's correct.
And please, could you enlighten us what would be the requirements in case a council member wanted to move to reconsider?
One of the members that voted no would have to ask for a motion for reconsideration within the next 2 weeks.
Great. Thank you. Okay.
And just for a point of clarification, if only 2 letters are going forward, El Rancho was recommended by staff at 85%. With all 4, I'm assuming we would go to the 100%. 100% of their request. Okay.
Consider it your motion.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just have one quick question, Tammy. So if we don't fund, or the remaining funds, if the projects don't get, can they be put towards like art space or another project?
They will all be available for next year, for next year's applications.
Okay.
Do we have a quick overview why Art Space wasn't there? I probably know there's a good story there. But.
I'm not 100% sure, but the way I understand it is they weren't quite ready to make this year's tax credit application, so they're shooting for next year. Am I correct in that?
That That's correct. ArtSpace has decided that they just wanted to go after the tax credit dollars in next year's application, just to give them a little bit more time to do some additional fundraising and to be ready. So they are definitely interested in this funding source, and they will absolutely be back and asking for support next year.
Great. Okay. Next item is item 3, information on job order contracting projects. Any questions? On item 4, acknowledge receipt of minutes of various boards and committees, and we have a very eagle-eyed council member, Richens, pointed out to us that Parks and Recreation Board actually doesn't have any minutes in our.
So let's not.
So we're not gonna vote on that one. So we're gonna vote to approve the 4B and 4C, the minutes for the Economic Development Advisory Board and the Downtown Vision Committee. So is there a motion to that effect? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, that motion carries. Here reports on meetings and conferences attended. Anything of note? No one's willing to confess. Okay. Next is scheduling of meetings and general information.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Just a reminder, Friday, January 23rd from 7:30 to 8:30, we have the next coffee with the Vice Mayor, Kavanaugh. And that'll be held at the Idea Museum, located at 150 West Pepper Place. Sonny O'Rourke will be the guest speaker, and they'll provide tours of the museum. Should be a lot of fun. Also, the Mesa's 15th Annual Historic Home Tour is this Saturday, January 24th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And tickets are $20 and are available online at www.mesamuseum.org. So all the proceeds will benefit the Mesa Historical Museum. Our next council meeting will be Monday, January 26th. Thank you.
Very good. And with no further business, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn. One second, all in favor? Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.